Right. So today we're going deep on something that's gotten a lot of folks talking, all those drone sightings.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all over the news, and there's no shortage of theories, let's just say.
Yeah.
You sent over a bunch of stuff for us to go through, some articles from like CNN, Fox News, even some like deep commentary
Mm-hmm.
that really gets into, uh, well, some of the more, shall we say, out there explanations. So
Right.
we're gonna dive deep. We're gonna see what we can make of all this.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's definitely a topic that's generating a lot of buzz, and I think a lot of people are looking for some answers.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can shed some light on it.
Okay, let's start with just like what we know, right?
Mhm.
We got these articles from CNN and Fox News
Right.
talking about these drone sightings, and it's global, right? It's happening all over the place. They're
Yeah.
talking about Colorado, New Jersey, even Tokyo.
Right. Yeah, it's not just, isolated incidents here and there.
Right.
It seems like there's a pattern emerging.
Yeah, and they're not just. It's not like kids messing around with drones in their backyard, right? I mean, witnesses are talking about like formations,
Right.
weird movements, this eerie silence.
Yeah, the descriptions are pretty strange. And it's not just like random people on the street. We're getting reports from like pilots,
Right.
law enforcement, people who you would generally consider to be pretty reliable.
Edible.
Yeah, credible sources. And the sheer volume of these reports, it starts to make you wonder what's really going on.
Right. Right. Right.
It's hard to just dismiss it as, a bunch of hoaxes or misidentifications.
Right. And that whole thing about like the pilot, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
it was the Fox News article where they were talking about this pilot from New Jersey
Right, yeah.
almost lost control of his plane because of a drone. I mean,
Yeah.
that takes it to a whole other level. I mean, it's not just, oh, that's weird anymore. It's like a real safety issue.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're talking about potential interference with aircraft, that's a major concern.
Yeah.
Public safety is at stake.
So it really raises the question of, okay, who's controlling these things?
Mm-hmm.
And what are they doing?
Right.
What's their purpose?
Yeah. What's the agenda?
Right. What's the agenda? And this is where things get, really interesting. This is where some of the stuff that you sent over really
Yeah,
gets into some pretty wild territory.
it does.
I mean, this commentary, it just jumps right into it, talking about these drones, and maybe they're not even earthly technology.
Right.
I mean, they're saying maybe these are extraterrestrial probes.
Yeah, the idea that, we're being visited, we're being observed by beings from another planet. I mean, it's something that's been, talked about for decades. But with these recent sightings, it's definitely gained some traction.
I mean, it does kind of make you think, doesn't it? Like, what if we're not alone?
Mm-hmm.
And what if these drones are their way of like checking us out?
Yeah.
It's sort of like that whole zoo hypothesis. Have you heard of that one?
Oh, yeah, yeah. The idea that, a more advanced civilization might be studying us from afar.
That-
Just like, we observe animals in a zoo, and these drones could be their way of, getting a closer look without actually interfering or making contact.
right.
Yeah.
Kind of a creepy thought, isn't it?
Uh,
Being watched without even knowing it.
it is a little unnerving,
Yeah.
but it's also, it's a possibility that we have to consider, especially when you look at, how strange these sightings are and how difficult it is to explain them with conventional explanations.
Right. And I mean, if these things really are happening,
Mm-hmm.
if these sightings are really, something beyond our understanding, then that theory, that idea, it starts to make a little more sense, doesn't it?
It does. It definitely does. It's one of those things where, the lack of a clear explanation kind of opens the door to all kinds of possibilities. And
Right.
and this one's definitely, up there in terms of being both fascinating and a little bit scary.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but I find myself looking up a little more often these days.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. The thing about that Zoe hypothesis, it's not like just some crazy idea,
Right.
Like it's something that actual scientists and, philosophers, they've thought about it, written about it. It really makes you think about like our place in the whole scheme of
Like,
things.
for sure. I mean, think about it. If there really are these beings out there
Yeah.
and they're so advanced they can send drones across like galaxies,
Yeah.
what does that even mean about their technology?
Right.
And what would their intentions be? Are they just curious, or is there something else going on?
Well, this text you sent, it kind of gets into that, and some of the ideas They're pretty wild. Like, one theory is that maybe they're not just watching. Maybe they're messing with stuff.
Messing with stuff.
Yeah, like manipulating the environment, maybe even, get this, influencing our thoughts.
Wait, hold on. Mind control. That's like straight out of a sci-fi movie.
I know, right?
But then again, if we're talking about beings that are like thousands, millions of years ahead of us, I mean.
Right, who knows what they're capable of.
Right, exactly. It's like we're barely figuring out how to order pizza with our smart speakers.
Right.
And they're over here, like, controlling minds with drones.
It's a lot to wrap your head around, but it does make you think, right? Like, it challenges our whole understanding of what's possible.
Okay, so we've got these potential alien observers, maybe even mind controllers.
Hmm.
What else? What else we got on this cosmic bingo card?
Oh, well, we can't forget about the government,
Oh, right.
right? The text mentions the whole cover-up angle.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
Right. The idea that the authorities, they know about these extraterrestrial drones, but they're keeping it all hush-hush.
Right, the whole they know more than they're letting on thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a popular theory for sure. And it does make you wonder, like, why the secrecy?
Right.
What are they so afraid of us knowing?
Well, there are lots of theories, right?
Right.
Some people say, they're worried about mass panic. Others think they're trying to control the narrative.
Right.
Maybe even try to, like, reverse engineer alien technology for their own, purposes.
So it's all very cloak and dagger. Secret meetings, hushed whispers, evidence disappearing.
Yeah, like something out of, like, a spy movie or something.
Right? It's pretty wild.
Yeah, well, and the text it brings up some interesting points about, how governments have been secretive about UFO stuff in the past.
Right.
Like, there are all these documented cases of weird events that were just dismissed or downplayed by the authorities.
Right.
And that just fuels the whole, conspiracy theory fire.
It makes people wonder, right? Okay, so we got potential aliens, advanced technology, maybe even government conspiracies.
Yeah.
It's a lot to process. But here's the thing I keep coming back to.
Mm.
If these drones are real and they're not from Earth, I mean, that means we're not alone.
That's really the heart of it, isn't it? Like, this whole conversation, it forces us to face this huge question. What if everything we thought we knew about the universe, about our place in it, is wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big one.
It's both exciting and terrifying at the same time.
Right.
Do you are we ready for that kind of revelation?
Well, that's a question that people have been asking for a long time, philosophers, theologians, everybody.
Yeah.
It's something we each have to figure out for ourselves. Like, are we ready to face the unknown, to accept the possibility of life beyond Earth, even if it changes everything?
It's a big jump, that's for sure.
Well,
Okay, let's just say, hypothetically, these drones are extraterrestrial. What's their goal? Why go through all the trouble to send drones all this way? What are they trying to accomplish?
Well, let's look at some of the theories. And we got to remember, we're in speculation territory here.
Right.
One idea, it's pretty common in sci-fi, is that they're looking for resources.
Resources.
Yeah, like Earth has all these valuable minerals, elements, stuff that might be rare somewhere else in the galaxy.
So they're like cosmic prospectors, checking out our planet for valuable stuff. Kind of like how we send probes to asteroids and other planets, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, if they have the tech to travel between stars, they probably have the tech to mine other planets.
Right.
And Earth could be a pretty good target.
But wouldn't that be like a hostile move?
Yeah.
Shouldn't they like ask permission before they start mining our planet?
Well, that's assuming they see things the same way we do. Remember, their worldview might be totally different.
Right.
Their understanding of the universe, of our place in it, it could be completely alien to us.
Good point. We tend to think our human laws and ethics apply everywhere. Okay, so resource extraction is one possibility. What else?
Another theory is that maybe they're looking for a new home.
A new home.
Yeah, like maybe their planet's dying or they're running out of space. Or maybe they're just nomads, always on the move, looking for new worlds.
So Earth could be their next stop.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that mean, like, displacing us, maybe even wiping us out? That sounds like a recipe for conflict.
It does raise the possibility of an us versus them situation, a fight for survival against a more advanced species.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
It is, and it's a theme that's been explored a lot in sci-fi.
Right.
It taps into those primal fears we have,
Right.
of the unknown, of the possibility that the universe is a hostile place.
Right, it's that whole Independence Day scenario.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got resource extraction, colonization. Any other motives?
Right.
Well, some theories suggest something a little more, hopeful. Yeah, what if they're not here to take advantage of us or push us out, but to help us?
Help us.
Yeah.
How? Like, share their super advanced tech with us, solve our energy crisis, cure all diseases.
Maybe. Maybe. Some people believe that advanced aliens might have a sense of responsibility towards less developed species.
Like a cosmic stewardship kind of thing.
Exactly. They might be watching, waiting for the right time to step in to help us build a better future.
That's a nicer way to think about it. But I got to be honest, I'm a little skeptical. Why haven't they made contact already if they want to help?
That's a good question. Maybe they're waiting for us to reach a certain level,
Certain level.
technologically, socially. Or maybe there's some kind of cosmic rule, a prime directive or something that stops them from interfering directly.
Right.
Or maybe, just maybe, their way of communicating is so different from ours that we don't even recognize it.
So we just wait and see. Hope they're friendly.
Not necessarily. We can keep exploring, learning, pushing the boundaries of our knowledge. Maybe by understanding ourselves better, our planet, the universe, will be ready for anything.
Ready for anything, huh?
Whether it's contact with friendly aliens or the realization that we're all alone.
It's a lot to think about, right? Like, are we really about to find out we're not alone in the universe?
Yeah, it really makes you question everything. Like, are we ready for that as a species?
I mean, what would first contact even look like? Would it be like this huge event, spaceships landing on the White House lawn, or would it be something more, like, subtle?
Well, the text actually talks about that a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they suggest these drone sightings themselves could be a form of first contact.
Really?
Yeah, like a slow, gradual introduction.
Oh, I see.
Maybe they're trying to get us used to them being around before they, officially introduce themselves.
So instead of, like, motherships landing, it's just these weird drones checking us out from a distance.
Yeah, it's possible. And it kind of fits with that idea we were talking about, that they're cautious, maybe even benevolent.
Right.
Like they're concerned about how we'd react.
I mean, yeah, imagine if a giant spaceship just showed up out of nowhere.
Right.
People would freak out.
Total chaos.
Yeah, so maybe a slow approach makes more sense.
Yeah, like dipping their toes in the water.
Right, right. See how we react, check out our technology, maybe even figure out our culture a little.
Exactly.
Okay, let's say for a minute all of this is true.
Mm-hmm.
These drones are alien. And it's like the first step in them reaching out to us. What does that mean for humanity?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, science fiction has been dealing with that question forever. And now we might actually have to face it for real.
It's crazy. I mean, on one hand, it could be the biggest discovery ever, right? We know we're not alone. There's life out there.
Right.
But it could also be, well, unsettling, to say the least.
Yeah, it's exciting and terrifying all at the same time. There's so much potential for learning new things, new technology,
Right.
a deeper understanding of the universe, but there's also that fear of the unknown.
Right.
What if they're not friendly?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What if we're not the top dogs anymore? You know, we've always thought of ourselves as the dominant species here on Earth.
Right.
But what if we meet someone way more advanced? Do we become the underdogs?
Those are all legitimate concerns, and honestly, I think we need to start talking about them more as a society.
Yeah.
We need to be prepared no matter what happens.
But what can we even do? How do we prepare for something like this when we don't even really understand it?
I think the first step is just asking the right questions.
Okay.
Acknowledging the possibility of alien life, studying what we're seeing,
Yeah.
trying to understand what they might want.
So more deep dives like this.
Exactly. More research, more exploration, and more open-minded discussions, considering all the possibilities.
Okay, that makes sense. So as we wrap up our deep dive into all these drone sightings and, the possibility of alien visitors, I just want to leave you with this. The universe is a huge, mysterious place, and we're just starting to figure it out. Keep looking up, keep asking questions.
Right.
Keep an open mind. Like they say, the truth is out there, and it might be closer than we think. Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery.
Until next time, stay curious.